Is up, party people? Today, we're going to be making some chicken piccata. We're going to start with our boneless, skinless chicken breast. Peekaboo! That's a little trick to keep your cutting board from sliding is to place it on a towel. With our chicken breast, we're going to be butterflying these. Basically, you want to flip it up on its side and split it into two even parts as best as you can. Do not cut yourself. Next up, we're going to be using that same trick of placing the cutting board on that towel, and we're going to proceed to beat and flatten our chicken. Basically, what you want to do is place your now cut and butterflied chicken breast onto your cutting board, then proceed to place a piece of saran wrap on top of the chicken. You can use a mallet like I'm doing here, or even a heavy set bottom pan. You want to beat your chicken until it is one consistent thickness across the entire breast. This will ensure even cooking times and maintain moisture and juiciness. Now that your butterfly chicken halves have been adequately pounded, I recommend cutting them in half for the sake of ease of tossing them in the pan, as well as for the reason that someone may not want to commit to eating a half a chicken breast. It'll be easier to portion out serving sizes later. Our next step is to season our chicken. I recommend using black pepper, cayenne, and salt. The exact measurements will be up to you. I prefer mine a little bit more spicy with a little bit more of a kick, but if you're not really into that type of thing, you can always dial back the cayenne. As far as salt and pepper, that's basically to taste. And finally, once it's been thoroughly seasoned, we're going to hit it with some all-purpose flour. Don't be shy with the chicken. Give it a thorough toss so that that flour penetrates and gets into every nook and cranny. We do this so that it fries evenly in the pan, giving it that beautiful golden brown color that we're looking for. Next step, we're going to put a couple tablespoons of oil into a heavy bottom pan. I'm using avocado oil. Please feel free to use whatever oil you're comfortable with. We're going to set the heat to high until we see that oil start to shimmer, at which point we'll reduce the heat to medium high. We will then proceed to place our chicken delicately into that hot oil. We will then watch the chicken go from that pink color to a more white color. You can watch the whiteness basically creep up from the bottom of the pan through the midway point of the chicken. When you see that it's basically reached more or less the halfway point through the chicken, you give it a flip. Make a mental note as to how long it took to get to that point where you wanted to flip it, because all we're going to do is do the exact same thing on that other side. So if it took about 2 minutes for that pinkness to get 50% gone on that chicken breast, you're going to give it another 2 minutes on the other side and then remove it from the pan. Please remember, do not crowd your pan. Don't put too many pieces of chicken into the point where they're piling up on each other. You don't even really want them touching. So it's better to have multiple batches, put in 5 pieces at a time, remove it, put another 5 pieces in, and remove it and put another 5 pieces in, rather than try to put 15 pieces all in at once. This ensures that the chicken is cooked correctly. Also, it ensures that that caramelization happens at the bottom of the pan, because that is going to be the base of our sauce that we're going to make once the chicken is fully done cooking. Once you are on your last batch and that last piece of chicken comes out of the pan, we're going to hit it with some capers as well as the juice that they came in. This will begin the deglazing process. This is how we're going to make a pan sauce. Keep the pan on medium heat. Once those capers have gotten a good sizzle, we're going to hit the pan with some liquid. I'm using a wine. Please feel free to use stock or any other type of alcohol that you want. Could you use a port? Of course. Red or white wine would work here. I prefer, or I would suggest, using a white wine. It's traditional. Once that liquid is in the pan, we're going to help deglaze the brown bits off the bottom of the pan by applying some force to them. You can use a spatula or even the tongs that you pick the chicken up with. Really, we're just trying to loosen up all those bits to create a beautiful sauce and really provide the chicken with beautiful flavor. We're going to leave the heat on medium until that sauce reduces slightly, at which point, if it gets a little too thick, you can put in a splash of water like I did, or we can skip to the next step, which will be turn the heat off on the pan and hit it with some butter. The exact amount of butter that you use will be totally up to you. I recommend at least using a couple tablespoons of butter just to make sure that you have the adequate richness and luxuriousness of the sauce that it really deserves. With that heat off, we're going to toss that butter in that sauce until it fully dissolves and incorporates itself, at which point we can start to reintroduce our chicken, which has been resting in a bowl preferably, and don't forget to pour in any and all accumulated juices. This is crucial. We will toss that chicken in that beautiful sauce, make sure all the pieces are coated evenly, and finally we will give it a squeeze of lemon. I use one whole lemon for this entire pan. Please feel free to squeeze as much lemon as you'd like. Make sure to collect any seeds that may have popped out during the squeezing of those lemons. I like to give the chicken one last toss in that lemon juice before serving. Once that chicken is fully tossed one last time, we are ready to plate and serve. Enjoy!